It is the 15th race of the 2002 NASCAR Winston Cup Series season, and we're back at the Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania for the first ever 400-mile Pocono race. It is the Pocono 400. I'm Joe Castillo. Inside me in the booth, it is Trey Bardo. Trey, your home track here at the Pocono Raceway. You've won here in the past. What does it take to master this triangular racetrack in the Pocono Mountains?
Easy, just have it be a hometown race for you.
Is that all? Is that what you and Trey Rainey did so well?
Yeah, it's a lot of motivation, so you don't disappoint in front of the family.
I guess that's good. And
So I bet you if you get one of these cars, you could go out there and win it too.
it just adds horsepower to the car. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, 100. Don't tell NASCAR, but 100%.
All right. Well, we'll see if that occurs here today. We have Luke Rainey from Pennsylvania in this race. He'll start a little bit further back, but we'll see if he can get some horsepower added and be like his brother and get to victory lane here at the Pocono Raceway. But a driver who really wants to get to victory lane once again this season is Jordan Stout, who starts in second place. Trey, he won last race at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Not only did he win the race, but he won the Winston Noble 5 bonus, so he's $1 million richer than he already would have been, even with the winnings from the race at the World 600. He'll start second here today, but Trey, earlier this week it was announced from Roush Racing that he did not pick up his option for the 2004 season, so he'll technically be a free agent during next season while he drives his final scheduled season for Roush Racing. They can obviously still agree to more and sign him further, but he'll kind of settle into free agency and see what that Waters gives him.
Yeah, I gave a call to the owner of Roush, Mr. McTrain, and he was honestly taken aback by it because he was a little shocked with that. But he said as an organization they respect Stout's wishes, and I mean they're going to do everything they can to get him to re-sign. And honestly, I don't blame them. I mean, Stout's been one of the head drivers at that whole team.
Yeah, and from our understanding, those conversations mostly arose after the Homestead disqualification of Stout's car after winning the race. And then, unfortunately, the news was scheduled weeks in advance, and then it came right after the World 600 win.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's at the moment, it kind of for the 6 team, it's literally been a season of up and downs. I mean, Stout's failed inspection either pre-race or post-race twice now this season, and he's gotten 2 wins so far this season. Yep. So I don't know how you and they've all alternated, I'm pretty sure. So it's just I don't know how it's going for that for them right now.
Luckily, he's back to near top 10 in points, so he could possibly get up there and be in a fight for the top 10. Amazing to think that he's basically a race down on everyone, and he could be fighting up there towards the top of the points list. But some drivers that are really needing something to turn around for their season are the Hendrick Motorsports drivers. Trey, the past few weeks, they've looked to have found a little bit more speed than what they had at the beginning of the season. Brett Searer, who's the highest starting of them in 7th place, won here last season in the second Pocono race. That was his last win so far in the Winston Cup Series. Do you think he can make noise from 7th place start and possibly get Hendrick's 3rd straight Pocono win?
It would be nice for them to do that, and I mean, honestly, I think if one of these Hendrick guys can pull off a win, especially Brett, I think it could definitely start some up for those guys, because I know they're still searching for some sort of a positive outlook on this season, and I think if anyone does it, it's got to be Brett Sear in that 25.
And we have Justin Zeidel a little bit further back in 12th place, Keegan Thompson back in 19th, and Jay Reno outside the top 20 in 22nd to start. We'll see if any of those Hendrick drivers can move up and battle for the win at the end of the race here at the Pocono Raceway. Back of the field are Eli Bright and Jack Haas. They failed post-qualifying inspection. They both weren't going to start that well anyway. Eli was set to start around 25th place. Jack Haas was set to start outside of the top 35. So while they did lose some track position, Trey, they didn't lose all that much. Eli starts 41st, Jack Haas in 42nd.
Yeah, I think both of the reactions were just kind of, oh, well, not much you can really do about that, I guess. I mean, I don't think they were really affected by it just because, like you said, they weren't in the best of starting positions.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate and hard Saturday for both of those teams. They didn't practice all that well. Well, Jack Haas was top 20, so that's pretty good for his team so far this season. But Eli Bright did not practice nor qualify well. We'll see if they made any adjustments for the race, if he can do just a little bit better in that number 8 Budweiser Chevy here today at Pocono. So we take a look at the Ford Fast Facts. Clear skies. There are some clouds in the area. It's Long Pond, Pennsylvania. When aren't there really clouds in the area? But 77 degrees, so it's a pretty warm day for these drivers at Pocono, and 7 miles an hour wind in the east direction. So while it's hot for the fans in the stands, they do have some wind to maybe cool them down at some points, and we do have a 10% chance of rain. It's Long Pond. It can rain at any point here in the Pocono Mountains. This race is now 32 laps long, so 8 laps shorter than what we saw last season, 80 miles in length. The field window is 22 to 25 laps. That may give some crew chiefs a headache if we get under the yellow. Can they try and stretch it? Because they're only technically about 10 to 7 laps short on fuel here. So we'll have to see what the strategy call is for these teams as we get into the race here at Pocono. This track is 2.5 miles in length and 3 distinct corners. Turn 1 with 14 degrees of banking, turn 2 with 8 degrees, and turn 3 with 6 degrees of banking. We'll definitely talk about that a little bit later on in the race. This track was built and opened in 1971, held its first race here in the Winston Cup Series in 1981. The last Ford Pocono win was all the way back in July of 1998 with Racing Collins driving the Robert Yates number 28 to victory lane. We'll see if another Ford can get to victory lane and break that winless streak here at Pocono. Hendrick swept the races here last season, and that's the only ever Pocono sweep by a team. Last season in this race, it was Keegan Thompson going to victory lane. Brett Sierra won the second race here at Pocono last season as well. See if Hendrick can go for 3 straight at Pocono, or can some other team do it? At the front of the field, it's Chris Jericho for Joe Gibbs and Jordan Stout for the Roush organization, leading us to the green flag. We'll go down trackside, get the command to fire the engines up for the 15th race of the season.
Drivers, start your engines!
There roll off the 42 cars to do battle here in Long Pond, Pennsylvania at the Pocono 400. And let's go back to the third row. That first sits Mathis Wells in the number 20. He's found some momentum as of late, some footing on his season. He's gotten very consistent results. He's come also close to victory the past few races, but hasn't gotten it done. Trey, he won here in 2000. Can he find that same magic from a top 5 starting spot to get back to victory lane for the first time this season?
I mean, Joe, when has this car been up front and not gotten a win so far? I mean, it seems like every race he's up near the top 3 and just hasn't been able to pull it off. But, Joe, both these JGR guys are starting up front. So, I mean, one of them's going to pull it. One of them's got to get it, right?
Well, they have 2/5 of the top 5. We'll see if those odds are just like that at the end of this race. We'll find out after 32 laps. And back here, just outside the top 10 to start, it's number 15, Lathan Strickland, back behind the wheel a little bit earlier than expected, but Doctor's cleared him to race here in the Pocono 400. He's back after missing just 1 race at the World 600.
I mean, is he cleared then, right? He's back in, so he's cleared.
He's cleared. Doctor's cleared.
You think he lost any, brain cells or anything? You think he's doing all right in there?
Well, considering this is probably his best start ever at Pocono, I'm sure he's doing quite all right.
You know what? Maybe it was one of those things, where you like hit your head and like all of a sudden you learn Spanish or something. Maybe it's like this, and now he's just going to be like really good at driving cars.
He hit his head and he learned how to drive at Pocono. Maybe
that's simple. Maybe that's what everyone's going to do.
Maybe so. And then a few rows back here, as we mentioned, Keegan Thompson won this race last season. It was his first win of that season. Can he try and get it done here today for his first, once again, at Pocono?
Well, Joe, if he wants to go back-to-back, he's got a lot of cars to do it, but we got a lot of race to go through, so we'll have to see if that 5 can make his way up to the front and go back to victory lane here at Pocono.
He has to pass 18 cars to do it. The pace car is in at the front of the field. Chris Jericho and Jordan Stout are on the front row. As we come down and take the green flag, the Pocono 400 is underway.
Oh.
Well, that
thought we were about to go 4 wide for a second, Joe.
That was a little bit close. Jordan Stout went a little bit wider. Fitzwater shoved it 3 wide in the middle. Noah Clifton, his Aussie friend, was all the way in the bottom. We already have Jacob Miller blowing up off turn 1.
Oh, no. He did so well last race.
He did. You have to think, Troy, with it being this early, he missed a shift.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, I think they call it a money shift, Joe.
Yeah.
And, you know why they call it that?
Because it costs a lot of money.
It does cost a lot of money, and that thing's up in smoke. But one car that's not up in smoke, but is up. No!
Chris Jericho also an issue on the first lap. He'll come to pit road from the lead, and it leaves Noah Clifton with the lead on lap 1.
I was about to say, one car that's on fire right now is Jericho, but he actually might be on fire because he's down pit road.
Yeah, what? So we have Jacob Miller, didn't even take turn 1, and he's blown up. Then Chris Jericho from the pole has an issue on the 18. He forfeits all the track position, and now Jericho's teammate Mathis Wells moves out from Jordan Stout now to second, and here comes Fitzwater down in line. He's been great here in his past 2 races. He's going for third on Noah Clifton.
maybe the tricky triangle is starting to get cursed, Joe, because I don't know what could have went wrong. Because I mean, he went out so far ahead. He had a fast car, and it just blew up on him. Or it didn't blow up, but I don't know what happened to it.
Do you think that maybe they didn't torque the wheels right and something just felt loose on him or something?
It definitely could have been because he's right back out. So, and I don't see anything visibly wrong with the car. So, like you said, they might have just had a vibration or something in the car, and rather be safe than sorry. And I mean, hopefully we get he's hoping we get a caution here at some point to get him back up into this thing. With how these guys are racing, though, I wouldn't be surprised if we did get one.
Well, Jordan Stout has cleared his way out in front. Fitzwater going for a second side-by-side with Mathis Wells down Long Pond straightaway. Matthew Burnett moving by his teammate Keyshawn Richardson, and then Lathan Strickland inside the top 10. Tim Garrett down in line, Brent Seaver behind him as they race off into the tunnel turn. Stout with a nice lead. Here comes Fitzwater. He's going to clear in second place from Mathis Wells. He'll move right up in front of the 20, and here comes Matthew Burnett now for third place, and Keyshawn Richardson trying to extend that points lead even more. Trey Richardson dives to the bottom of turn 3, going for fourth on Mathis Wells, maybe third on his teammate Matthew Burnett. What a great run for that 99 through the flat turn 3.
Definitely. Is it time to calm these guys down a little bit here? Let's get a couple laps in before another big event happens.
It looks like they're spreading themselves out now, so I think we might have gotten to that point where maybe they could stay calm, and we're a little bit 3 wide back here though. In the middle, Conrad Evans at number 31, Mitchell Collins to the bottom. Collins will lift and let the 31 down in line so that they didn't force 3 wide into turn number 1 this early on.
Yeah. Hey. Let's. You know what I was surprised about last race, Joe?
What's that?
This guy right here didn't really do anything.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Fair to say?
Yeah, no,
he was fair to say.
It was the quietest I've ever seen a Conrad Evans race go. I mean, he didn't have anything that really he got involved with, and he didn't really run at the front either. So,
well, I mean, let's call it a small win that he stayed out of trouble this time.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he didn't really gain that many points on Keyshawn Richardson. I think he gained 8 points on him. So Richardson still has a nice points gap right now. The 99 running in the top 5, and Conrad Evans currently outside the top 10s. There was a battle for a second. Fitzwater had a little bit of a challenge from Burnett, but Burnett had to get in line, and now that allows Mathis Wells to move to the outside and Keyshawn Richardson to move for 4th place. And how about this run so far in the early part of this race for Evan Hunter, who moved from outside the top 15 at the start to currently running for a top 5 spot down the second of the straightaways.
You got to mention his teammate. The other car that he owns is only 4 spots behind him right now too. So these guys are off to a really good start. Now see if he can hold it off here. But Gary had a wide corner through the tunnel turn there, almost nipping the wall off exit there. It's going to allow Keegan to get to the inside, and a lot of other guys, Spurley or Riley Spurley tubes there. Evans is there, and one of your cars is there, Joe.
And here comes that number 9 of Laura Chung, who has had so far a very
both of them are there.
season. Yeah, and right behind her is that number 19 of Nolan Lawrence. They're trying to move their way to the front at the same time, just trying to work. I guess that's a little bit of teamwork going on between the 2 red Evernham cars.
It's got to make you one happy guy, right?
As long as they don't get into each other, then yeah.
That's fair. Let's hope that they don't.
Yeah, let's hope that does not happen. As Matthew Burnett had once again another look down the first straightaway, couldn't make it work on Fitzwater, and now that allows Mathis Wells to move to the inside of Keyshawn Richardson. But the 99 is getting drafted and should clear the 20 back into the tunnel turn, and will do just that. Mathis Wells will keep 5th, Hunter goes wide in 6th, and this is going to bring Lathan Strickland and Zachary DeLello, who is the lowest starting Roush car, up into it. So Trey, once again, the 4 Roush cars are moving to the front. Burnett, this time I have the shot for 2nd place.
So we lining up to have another Texas ordeal here with these Roush guys?
Well, they're going to 1, 2, 3 right here as Jordan Stout still leads in number 6. Matthew Burnett moves to 2nd, and Keyshawn Richardson, the points there, up to 3rd. He looks for a 2nd himself, down into turn number 1.
Well, that's a little bit of team play down the very long front straight here, and now he's going to try to pass his teammate here. He's going to bring the 20 along with him as Wells is actually looking bottom 3 wide. I don't think he's going to be able to get there, though, coming off of the first turn there, and that would have been interesting.
It would have been. It would have been fun to see, but Mathis, I think, cooler heads prevailed on that one and said, you know what, let's not force it 6 laps into it. Evan Hunter's going to force it 3 wide in the tunnel turn. You don't see that work often, and it did for Evan Hunter. He gets by Matthew Burnett, looking to get by Mathis Wells as well in the number 20.
That was such an aggressive move.
Yeah, I mean, this is a driver, though, with really nothing to lose on this season. He's not had the best of seasons in that number 36. It's been very inconsistent. But now here he is, Trey, up inside the top 5 to 3rd place and gaining on it. And also inside the top 5, Lathan Strickland back in the Winston Cup Series after 1 week off. And he's racing like he didn't have that week off.
Mr. Concussion.
Yeah,
That's a new name for him.
Mr. hit my head really hard.
Mr. wanted to fly at Texas. But wow, Joe, is that the fourth Roush guy up here right now?
Yes, it is. Zachary DeLello, who started outside the top 20 in 21st place, has moved up nicely to make it 4 Roush cars inside the top 10. DeLello right behind Matthew Burnett. He just cleared Zachary Fitzwater Sr. for the 7th spot. Keegan Thompson also up here in 8th. Or excuse me, in 9th place, trying to make some noise for Hendrick Motorsports, as well as Brett Sierra fell back, didn't really get to do anything, and the other Hendrick cars not having the best of days as well. But at the front, Keyshawn Richardson closing in on Jordan Stout, cutting the gap down, the closest it's been for someone in 2nd place to our race there, Jordan Stout. Want to give an update on Jacob Miller. It was a gearbox issue, so Trey likely missed a shift on that number 57, and it locked up the gearbox.
That money shift, man, it kills you, and he did. I don't even think he got through the first corner without with being able to do it.
No, it's normally going from 3rd to 4th, and you go from 3rd to 2nd, and that would be entering into turn number 1. So you're exactly right. He probably didn't even make it, but 500, 1,000 feet before that happened.
Oh, that's got hopefully he didn't really mess anyone up behind him there, or drop any liquid on there. I mean, NASCAR kept it green, so I'm assuming the track was good, and yeah, that's just something that you feel a little bit embarrassed about, but you just shake your head and move on and go to the next race, and hopefully don't do it again.
Yeah, at some point in the future, it could become something like, oh, I can't believe I did that, and something you look back on fondly if you start to have success in the Winston Cup Series. If you don't, then you're like, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah, I've done it once or twice. I'll admit it. And like I said, when you do it, you just kind of call yourself an idiot and you move on. And you might have to cough over your few bucks to the team owner to buy a new gearbox. But you know what? That's all right.
Well, here's the battle for 2nd place. Keyshawn Richardson has it, but Evan Hunter in that number 36 is moving through the field. He wants 2nd place. Down Long Pond straightaway, Richardson gets the draft for Jordan Stout and might be able to keep that spot. Hunter, though, we've seen him be aggressive into the tunnel turn. Couldn't make it work, though. Here comes Lathan Strickland. He's moving for 4th on Mathis Wells. Wells shuts him off for now. Burnett still right behind in 6th. Battle for 7th. DeLello has it, but Zachary Fitzwater Sr. wants it right behind them. Here comes that number 9 of Laura Chung moving up nicely. The Evernham cars were pretty good here last season. They're showing some really good pace here today with Chung inside the top 10. Nolan Lawrence just behind. Conrad Evans for the 10th spot.
He's got a good run, or she's got a good run right here. Got into the inside of the 97. Are they going to be able to complete there? That Roush has got some straight line speed, though.
Yes, they do. That Ford power is unmatched, really, in the series, and we've seen it with how Roush Racing has done this season. All 4 cars have been very, very strong, and they're racing like it here. But Evan Hunter has some pretty good get up and go in that Pontiac here. He comes to the inside of Keyshawn Richardson once again to the tunnel turn, and this time can he make it stick on the bottom? It's oh so close. Richardson gives him the space, and Evan Hunter moves for 2nd, and this is allowing Mathis Wells to gain and get right onto the back bumper of that battle right there.
Yeah, how hard that 36 sent it into that tunnel turn.
Very hard. I'm surprised it's
pretty
stuck.
sure he was. I'm surprised. In fact, I think he was drifting on his way out of it. I mean, it was sideways, but look at this. Look at Wells.
And Mathis Wells was also sideways off turn number 3, trying to get the power down. Lathan Strickland, Matthew Burnett move on to this battle. It's a great battle behind Jordan and Stout. The number 6 gone and away, looking for his 2nd straight win in his 3rd of the season. Richardson, once again, you mentioned that Ford horsepower down the straightaway. It sticks on the top to keep 3rd place. Mathis Wells in line in 4th. Matthew Burnett for 5th on Lathan Strickland. And might look low on Mathis Wells. There's great battling trade, but it's not for the lead because Jordan Stout's taking up the show. And here comes Richardson for 2nd place.
I mean, the longer these guys battle is, just the farther the 6 is going to be able to pull, which honestly surprising with how these guys have been battling. He hasn't pulled away as much as I thought he would.
Yeah, so maybe that's showing that Stout's car isn't actually as great as maybe some of these cars back here, but the way these guys keep battling, it makes it look like the 6 is basically unstoppable out front. We're coming around to 20 to go, Trey, so once again, the short race, there's not too much time left for these drivers to run down that number 6 and try and battle with them.
Yeah, so these guys got to calm it down a little bit here, or, I mean, at this point, if they keep going like this, you better hope that you can undercut it and it's going to work out for you.
Well, the second half of the field's calmed down. They're a pretty single file back there, but this front half of the field, they are too wide through about the first, what would you say, 12 to 15 spots? I mean, this is insane stuff here at the front of the field.
Yeah, it's about a, 10-car battle for 2nd place?
It's, yeah, just about that. As Keyshawn Richardson tries to now pull that pack up to Jordan Stout. Mathis Wells clears in third. Matthew Burnett is fourth. Zach DeLello puts all 4 Roush cars inside the top 5. Laura Chung moves to sixth for Evernham. Bound for seventh. Evan Hunter has it. Here comes second in points. Conrad Evans trying to gain more points on Keyshawn Richardson, but needs to get up to the front because Richardson having a really good day right now. Right behind is Nolan Lawrence. Mitchell Collins and Zach Fitzgerald Sr. both from Penske going at it. 44 of Yepes right behind them. Then you have Lathan Strickland and Sebastian Kuklon looking to try and turn his season around. Lowe's was a dismal race for that number 29 team. They're moving up solidly inside the top 15. As Mathis Wells looks for second off into turn 1 on Keyshawn Richardson.
Oh, they caught Stout too, and I understand Wells had a run, but look at how far Stout pulls away with Wells making the move on Richardson here. And honestly, he has no help behind him because look who's behind look who's behind Wells right now.
And Mathis Wells is in a world of pain with all these Roush cars around him, but I think he's going to make it work through the tunnel turn. So then we'll see if he can be the one to run down Jordan Stout at number 6. Burnett looks for third on teammate Keyshawn Richardson. Hunter cleared Conrad Evans to get in line in 7th place. Evans in 8th. Here comes Laura Chung. So far her best start to a race this season. She's moving up nicely, trying to break her way inside the top 5 and maybe battle for the race win. We saw it last season. Evernham car Walker Davidson at number 19. Lead laps in the second Pocono race. Laura Chung trying to get there, maybe leads the laps of her own here at Pocono in the Pocono 400 in the 2002 season. She's right behind 2 Roush cars, maybe look at 3 wide into turn 1.
Stable here really got a thing for Pocono, doesn't it?
Well, unless it breaks like it did last season, then I guess we don't have stuff. But
we don't talk about last. You know, like I said, look, remember what I said in the pre-race show about Pocono and being a home place?
Yeah, I guess that.
It gives your cars horsepower.
I guess it's something like that. And you also have Bronson Minnick from Pocono, and he owns from Pennsylvania, and he owns the Penske cars, and they both have run well here today. Fitzwater obviously falling back at this stage, but Mitchell Collins moved up nicely in the number 12 car.
I'm telling you, man, it's something about this tricky triangle and it being a home place. It just gives your car power out of nowhere, and you just got to utilize it.
And a really good run up through the field for this number 44, Diego Yepes, trying to move his way up inside the top 10. So a lot of shuffling, but we saw this last season with some of the smaller teams really making their names known at the front of the field at this Pocono Raceway. What is it, Trey, about this racetrack? Is it because of how unique and kind of weird these corners are with it being 3 corners? You can never really get all 3 down pat. So is it just something about the uniqueness of it that allows these different teams to move their way to the front of the field?
I mean, definitely, right? The first corner there, it's a lot more banked and it's a little long, right? And then you come into the tunnel turn here, which is what, the strangest corner of all of NASCAR.
Yeah, probably.
And then the third one is really flat. I mean, so really, like I said, or like you said, you can't really master this track. You just gotta be really good at least 2 of the corners. It could help you out and just kind of manage the third one out. And I mean, that's why so many of these smaller teams, like we see the 9, the 36, the 44, are all slowly making their way up, just because, I mean, Joe, if you can manage 2 corners better than some of these top guys, you're going to make your way up through this field.
Well, we've just crossed the halfway point, 16 laps down, 16 laps to go here in the Pocono 400 at the Pocono Raceway. And while we're on the topic of turns, let's go to our Advanced Auto Parts question of the week. Last week we would ask, of the major races in the Winston Cup Series, which one is the most important, which one is the biggest? And obviously, to no one's surprise, the Daytona 500 easily won that vote.
So good.
Yeah, that was a low-hanging fruit, but I guess.
Yeah, that was a pretty easy one. What was the percentage?
It was 73%, said the Daytona 500.
Oh my! I think that's the top spot so far.
I think it might be, but we'll have to see. I think this week could be an interesting one. So we have 3 corners here at Pocono, all completely different. Trey had just mentioned, how long turn 1 is. It's a little bit heavier banked. Turn 2 is so unique and maybe the trickiest in all of NASCAR. Turn 3 is basically forever in such a shallow banked corner. So this week's Advanced Auto Parts question of the week: which turn at Pocono is the most important?
Tunnel turn, easily. I mean, Joe, you see how many times someone messes it up? They tap the wall and exit, or they just don't get a good entry, and they get such a big run coming off exit from the guy behind them.
All right, so you say
it's got to be the tunnel turn.
This turn right here.
Yeah, I mean, look, watch this 17. You see how wide he is? And look at the 31 on the bottom. I mean, he gained up a car and a half, just 2 car lengths worth of time right there, and he's going to pass him going into 3. So, I mean, Joe, that tunnel turn, you have to be able to hit it there, because if not, you just lose so much time.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. I think, turn 1 can also make a name for that because of how long it is, but I'm sure some people could also say turn 3 because it leads to the longest straightaway. If you don't get off turn 3 well, you're going to get killed all the way down the straightaway.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely the right answer for all 83, and we'll just have to see what happens. Did the 29 lose speed coming off of the backstretch there? It looks like he was just stalled, unless that 97 was just that much faster.
Well,
I couldn't tell.
Maybe that's where Roush is starting to beat Richard Childress Racing as of late, is under the hood.
Yeah, I was gonna say, all of a sudden, like, I looked back and it just looked like the 29 stopped.
Well, this Dodge apparently has some power under it. Laura Chung is still making her moves towards the front of the field, going for a second on Mathis Wells. And as we're coming up to pit stops here, Trey, it looks like maybe these drivers are coming down pit road.
Is Wells going to be staying out? He's a little high.
Yeah, he is. Look at that. Mathis Wells stays out trying for an overcut here, but legitimately, everyone else is coming in.
So I wonder if this will benefit Wells. Oh my goodness, they are trying to spread everything out here. These guys are still coming in. Brake, hit the brake.
Wow, they
We
are
good?
4 wide entering pit road. You know what? I like, the 40.
Oh, contact.
I like
Well,
what
this is what happens whenever everyone comes in the pit road.
I like what the 83 did with the 66, because they were at the back of the field. There was no way at all that they were going to gain anything by coming in with everyone. They're probably going to gain more by staying out in older tires, just because of the fact that they don't have to deal with congestion on pit road.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm going to be really curious to see how well this works out for some guys, as we got to be careful not to make contact on pit road. We already had some on entry here. See Jericho coming in the back, who's, well, he's really off pace with, having that incident here. And for the most part, it looks like we're going to be out of here pretty clean, at least with the front three guys. I don't know how the ones in the back are faring out.
Well, Mathis Wells has finally made his way down pit road on the number 20. You can see everyone else filtering off pit road in front. Edwards and the 83 will come in along with the 66 and Nathan Ormer. But you can see how much harder they can get into pit road than the others, because they came in with no one in front of them.
Yeah, I mean, we did see, guys hitting each other on entry to pit road because they just couldn't get slowed down in time. I don't think anyone really got any significant damage, though. But is Wells going to be able to jump the 6 of Stout here as he's in the final corner here? He's got a long straightaway to go, Joe. How close is this going to be, if close at all?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be all that close. Mathis will
No,
stay
I
on
don't
the
think
older
it is.
tires. Just put those left sides on. Now he's leaving pit road, and here is Stout already up to speed and already coming right up on him. Laura Chung right behind Stout as well. Keyshawn Richardson also there. The front two get by. Third place, Keyshawn Richardson will get by. So Mathis Wells, though, you have to think with those one lap fresher tires, if he can stay with them, maybe he can use those to his advantage over this long run.
Honestly, he didn't drop back as far as I thought he might have. So this might play into the hands of this 20 car.
It could, if he can stay with these front three, especially since Laura Chung looks like she might have the fastest car of these front three. If Chung passes Stout here at some point or battles with Stout, it could close up Wells onto the front three, and then with the fresher tires, he can make them work. As Stout still leads in turn 3, he's led most of the laps so far today, but Laura Chung in that Dodge from mid-pack starting spot, trying to get up here and maybe steal one from the Roushketeers at the front of the field. Still now Stout will cycle around to the race lead. Laura Chung right behind in second. Keyshawn Richardson is now in third. Mathis Wells back in fourth. Evan Hunter up to fifth, and here we go for the lead. Laura Chung into turn 1.
I think she might have faked him out a little bit there. I think she tried to play it off as if she was going to follow the 6 in there, and then just dove it straight left and pulled off. Joe, your car's got the speed to pass Roush.
And Laura Chung leads, but this is bringing the points there. Keyshawn Richardson right up into it, and you saw back there, Evans may have seen that happening up in front because he's trying to pass a car. Now Chung has her hands full with Keyshawn Richardson. The 99 looked low but couldn't get low.
See, Joe, that's the nice thing about not, really getting down the tunnel turn, is that you're able to drive away from the guy if you get a little bit of a better exit in. Right there, it benefited the 9 versus the 99, so we'll have to see what happens here, Joe. We almost have 4 9s in a row. I mean, if you turn the 6 upside down, it's a 9.
Yeah, we do. So we have the triple
99.
9s and then a weird 9.
Yeah, and it's that's kind of cool.
Oh, Stout wants that second place back from Keyshawn Richardson. I thought he would maybe stay with them because they're teammates, but Stout's not acting like it. To the inside, turn number 1. He's led the most laps today. He's trying to get second place back, but all this is doing Laura Chung to pull away the number 9. Mathis Wells still kind of falling off in 4th place, trying to get the tires up to temp, but at the moment, he's not able to maintain touch with the front 3 as Stout can't complete the pass on Richardson to the tunnel turn, and the 99 back down in line. So as I mentioned, Wells 4th, Evan Hunter right now in 5th, the battle for 6th, Zach DeLello in 6th, Evans now 7th, Collins 8th, Matthew Burnett 9th, the battle for 10th.
Ooh.
Anthony Hernandez gets a 10th by Kukulans in 11th, Yepez is now 12th. This has spread the whole field out train. How about Justin Atkins? One of the slowest in qualifying. He started all the way at the back of the field, but here he is now, Trey, moving up nicely inside the top 15. Maybe give a bump to Jose Mills in number 7.
Nice looking scheme. I like that. That's different.
Yeah.
That's very. I don't even know what words. They're not like vibrant, but just very. What's the word I'm looking for? Unique.
Yeah, there you go. We'll use unique. You're getting there. You're getting there.
Big words are hard sometimes, Joe.
They are very hard.
But he's slowly making his way through this place as he's in a heated battle with four other guys, and Mr. Concussion there slowly bringing his way into this battle as well.
Yeah, Riley Spurtube is there. Jose Mills having a good run for that Ultra Motorsports team. Nolan Lawrence has his teammate up there leading the race. Chung Lawrence trying to get up there and maybe get Evernham 2 cars inside the top 10. He has to get all the way up to that number 1 of Anthony Hernandez to do it. As we go back up to the front in this battle for the lead, Matheus Wells is closing in to make it 4 cars. Chung has the lead with now 8 laps to go. Richardson the 1 in second. Stout in third. Will look out for second again off into turn number 1. Matheus Wells loves seeing those 2 battle in front because it just allows him to get a bigger hole punch in the air for him to draft up onto them and get so close and make it 4 cars for the race win at the end of this one.
Yeah, there's definitely 2 people loving these 2 battling right now, and that's the one in front of them and the one behind them.
Yeah, because here's Matheus Wells. He's in it to win it now. Now actually looking out on Jordan Stout saying, look, I'm here. I'm a little bit faster than you now, so you better get a move on or I'm going to move you.
Is that lap fresher tires really going to help this 20 out, or is he going to be able to? Is he going to be stalled behind these 2 Roush guys? He's really creeping up on the back of Stout here. Not quite yet. He might give Stout a little bit of a bump, though. Oh, I think he might have.
Yeah, either he loosened him up with the front of his car or he gave him the bump. Either way, it would loosen the number 6 up if there was a bump or not. But Stout, that horsepower from Roush, pulls back ahead of Wells. Richardson gets a nice run. He's no worry from Stout behind, so he can only focus out front now in Lord Chung, and it's showing as they race off into turn number 1. He's close right up into the back of the number 9 with 7 laps to go here in the Pocono 400, and Chris Jericho there in the number 18 tray as he looks out the rearview mirror and sees those racers come out onto him. He has to think, what if that issue did not happen on the first lap?
Yeah, he's also probably thinking right now, if I slow up a little bit, might be able to slow up these top 3, give my teammate a little bit of a chance here.
Yeah, Matheus Wells still going for that first win of the season, and I'm not saying he would do it, but
hey, we know how well JGR works together.
Yeah, and here goes Wells again in turn 3, but once again the longest straightaway off of 3, so Wells will get in line, and right here as he's on the bumper, he'll draft him and maybe pull up for the pass in turn number 1 right at the end of the straightaway here.
He's right up alongside of what's he going to do here going into the first corner. He actually pushed 6 to try to make a move on his teammate there, which might have been a smarter play than what could have been, but Stout can't get there. That's actually going to push Richardson closer to the back of Chung.
Yeah, look at Keyshawn right on the back of Lord Chung. Matheus Wells looking on Jordan Stout's a 4-car race for the win at Pocono. Chung still holds the lead. Richardson, the points there right behind, looking for his 4th win of the season. Races into turn number 2, still right behind the number 9. Want to give a call to Jordan Edwards. That strategy call to stay out longer paid off. He's up to 19th. He was back outside the top 30. It also worked for Nathan Orman. He's up to 24th, right behind 2 of the Hendrick cars of Brando in 23rd, Zydell in 22nd. Eli Bright's moved up nicely from his poor starting spot, 21st. Haas is currently in 27th, right behind the number 26 of Samet Oskin. And then we look down even further. Stout goes for second on Keyshawn Richardson. A big move at the start-finish line. Some of the petty cars are down towards the bottom, like Roberto Crown Jr. in 39th, Hunter Reed in 40th, and obviously Chris Jericho last car in the lead lap in 41st, and Jacob Miller is out of the race as we have 5 laps to go. 4 cars for the win here at Pocono.
I was just about to say Richardson's lining up to make a pass here on the 9, but Stout had other plans.
He has other plans
He's
again.
He's going to go for it again.
Stout
Richardson cannot be happy with this.
Stout's looking for a 2nd straight win, right? And I mean, could this possibly help him with Roush Racing's contract talk if he can maybe get another win?
Look at Wells pushing the 6 right past. They cleared him.
So Stout is clear, but here goes Matheus Wells. He's going for second himself.
He's going for second now, too. But Richardson's going to help his teammate here. You got to think, right? It's going to keep him to the inside, and Wells isn't quite on the bottom of the 6 yet. We'll have to see what happens going in at the turn 1 here. Is he going to send it on the inside of Stout here? No, he's not going to be able to get there.
Yeah, he has to worry about Keyshawn Richardson before he can worry about Jordan Stout, because that 99 got a great run using the draft on the outside. They're still going to be side-by-side, door-to-door off turn number 1, and Stout can now look in the mirror, see their side-by-side, and try and just focus on that number 9 of Lord Chung at the front of the field. Chung continues to lead here in the Pocono 400 by Has Company, the last race winner, and $1 million Richard Jordan Stout is driving like it's just, he's driving like his career is on the line.
He's driving like he's a free agent here in a couple years.
He's showing, hey, listen, if you're another big team and you want me, sign me up because I'm ready to go. Jordan Stout right to the back of Laura Chung with 3 laps to go. Which of these 4 drivers comes out on top here at Pocono? Laura Chung leads. Jordan Stout with a nice run down into turn 1, right in the back bumper, looks down to the inside on Laura Chung. Can he complete the pass? And if he stays side by side with Chung, where does Mathis Wells in number 20 go?
Dude, Wells pulled away from Richardson so fast once he was able to get past him here. And now he's going to help Stout to the lead, which is just going to bring him to second place here, Joe. This is going to get real good here real quick. What's Stout going to do? He's going to try to force it 3 wide into the tunnel turn. He thought better of, not Stout, Wells, I mean.
Oh, but Wells is looking on Stout to the tunnel turn. The 6 clears out in front looking for a second straight win. Remember, he dominated the first half of this race, but lost it after pit stops. Richardson through the 3rd. Chung all the way back to 4th as we're coming around to 2 laps to go. There's still 5 miles left in this one. Jordan Stout back out in front, the number 6. Mathis Wells, the 1 in 2nd place, right on his back bumper. And Richardson, the 1 in 3rd, the points leader, looking to just extend that points lead over Evans, who's back in 7th.
Well, Joe, it comes down to arguably the fastest driver of the day to lap fresher tires, and I think right now lap fresher tires are going to prevail as Wells makes a dive into the corner. He's going to get below the 6 here, and Richardson's going to come help push him through.
Yeah, we'll see what happens off turn number 1. Can Mathis Wells stay to the bottom? Can Jordan Stout get the run off the top? Down Long Pond straightaway for the second to last time of this one. Mathis Wells is out in front, but as they go side by side, here comes Keyshawn Richardson going for second on Jordan Stout and trying to get his way back to victory lane. But Wells with the lap fresher tires clears, and can he now set sail, or will the draft be too much for him?
Don't count out Chung just yet. She just passed Stout, Joe. If she can get a big run on the front stretch here, might be able to get to the back of that 99, but I think it might be too little too late.
Well, here we come off 3 to the white flag. 1 final time around Pocono. 3 tricky corners to negotiate for Mathis Wells. The points leader, Keyshawn Richardson, right on his back bumper as they race off into turn number 1. Richardson looks into turn 1 for the lead. Can Mathis Wells protect it off? So far, he has done just that.
He absolutely drove that 20 into the corner there to try to hold off that 99, and it worked, but is it going to hurt himself on the exit here and going into the tunnel turn? It looks like it really didn't do anything at all.
Yeah, it looks like it just maintained off the exit of turn number 1. Richardson has 2 more straightaways to try and get to that number 20 and Mathis Wells through the tunnel turn. Richardson a little bit lower, Wells a little bit higher on exit. Can Richardson get a run? Wells trying to protect into the middle of the racetrack. Off into turn 3 for the final time. Richardson the points leader. Mathis Wells looking for his first victory of the season and his second at Pocono. He won here back in 2000 and he'll get another one, and it's his first of the season. Mathis Wells is on top in the Pocono 400.
That got intense.
That did get intense between those 4, and so far back to 5th place, Zachary DeLello.
Wow. Well, that was a lot in those final few laps, Joe.
Yeah, those final 5 laps, we had Chung leading, then we had Stout leading, then we had Mathis Wells leading, and Richardson looked on the last lap for the lead.
Wow, that was entertaining to say the least, and what a finish.
What a finish, and for Mathis Wells, for Joe Gibbs Racing, he avenges his teammate Chris Jericho. An issue on the first lap, had to come down pit road, and we'll obviously love to hear from Jericho at the end of this one to hear just exactly what happened in that number 18, why he had to come down pit road on the first lap. But Mathis Wells gives Joe Gibbs Racing something to celebrate here today, even though Jericho from pole finishes 41st. Wells wins from 5th starting spot.
I said 2 5ths was the lucky number.
Yep. Yep.
I said one of them had to do it, and well, one was out before we even finished the first lap.
Yep.
The other one was able to hold it off.
Yeah, so it turned from 2 5ths to 1 5th, but that 1 5th still worked pretty well for Mathis Wells.
I don't think he's going to complain, but Joe, I mean, let's talk about for a second here, Laura Chung.
Yeah, she did really well here today. Led a lot of laps, her best race of the season for sure, Trey.
Definitely, and I mean, once she got out front there, we saw that she was fast before pit stops, and then she took advantage of how everything folded out there, led a couple of laps. So, honestly, overall, a great day for her and that team. And, Joe, this was a pretty calm, well, let me rephrase that. After the first, 3 laps, this was a pretty calm race. And for Pocono, it was a pretty entertaining one.
Yes, it was. These last few Pocono races, both races last season were pretty entertaining, and this one was entertaining all the way down to the wire. So, a very, very good Pocono race indeed in the Pocono 400. Maybe making it just a few laps shorter was the right call.
Yeah, I think it was. So I applaud NASCAR for that. That's a first.
That is a first with what I've heard you say about NASCAR in the past.
Don't say it on air, Joe.
Well, we'll go to the finishing results then. How about that? So we'll take a look at how
Getting
everyone
called now.
shaked up here at Pocono. Mathis Wells, the one on top in the number 20, leading just at the end of this one and beating the points leader Keyshawn Richardson in second place. But Richardson will extend that points lead over Conrad Evans, who gets a solid top 10, but not enough to close in on that number 99. Third place to Laura Chung, a very impressive drive for her here today. She started way back mid-pack, but she moved up nicely to battle her way and had a realistic shot at winning this one, leading a lot of laps after pit stops. Jordan Stout, the one who led the most laps today, has still for fourth place, 4/10 back, but once again, that number 6 has come alive here after the last few races, and Zachary DeLillo puts 3 of the Roush cars inside the top 5 with a 5th place result. As mentioned, Evans ends up in 6th. Matthew Burnett puts all 4 Roush cars inside the top 7 to finish. Mitchell Collins ends up in 8th. Evan Hunter, a very solid day in 9th place. Had what looked like a top 5 car at some points, and a top 10 for Anthony Hernandez, gets back into that top 10 streak after missing out last race at Lowe's. 11th place to Sebastian Kukulon, 12th to the number 30 of Justin Atkins. Solid days for both those drivers. Obviously, Atkins came from the back. Kukulon just a solid recovery mission after a poor race at Lowe's. 13th to Laura Chung's teammate Nolan Lawrence, a very solid day for both those drivers. Yepez with a solid day, and 14th for Petty Enterprises. The other 2 cars didn't fare well, so Yepez does the heavy lifting here today, and Riley Sprigg to the top 15 after starting outside the top 20. Fitzwater faded back to 16th. Jordan Edwards, that strategy call gets him a 17th place finish, beating his team owner Lathan Strickland, his first race back after the concussion suffered at Texas. Strickland gets 18th. Jose Mills, a solid day for Ultra Motorsports, and 19th. And Eli Bright from the back of the field to get in 20th. We look down here just outside the top 20, and that's where the Hendrick cars lie. The highest finishing today, 22nd to Justin Zeidel. Jay Randall gets 23rd. Brett Sierra gets 24th. Keegan Thompson gets 30th. A lot of work to do, especially since this was one of their more successful racetracks in the past. They did not have any success here today. None of them really looked up to pace here at Pocono. Down below the top 30, as we look down here, 2 of the Petty cars down here is very disappointing as well. And we look down even lower, as mentioned, Chris Jericho, his issues from pole, he'll get 41st, and unfortunately didn't get that caution to get himself caught back up, and obviously issues on the first lap for Jacob Miller. Likely a missed shift on the number 57 puts him out of the race, not even completing 1 lap here at Pocono. As we take a look at the points and Trey, Keyshawn Richardson continues to cook in that number 99, but he has to watch out because it was around this time last season where Jericho had a pretty good points lead, but it slowly slipped away from him in the summer months when Brett Sierra came alive, so Keyshawn has to watch for that. You know, Evans and Burnett are still right there on his back bumper.
Yeah, you definitely know he's not trying to follow up what happened last season. And I mean, Joe, a couple bad races in a row, and that thing closes up pretty quick.
Yes, and these are some tricky racetracks coming up in the summer months, like Michigan, and you have Loudon, New Hampshire coming up. You have the road course at Road America. You have the Daytona Night Race coming up. Chicagoland, the new racetrack there in Illinois. So there is a lot that can happen in these summer months, and we're looking forward to the next one. It's another one of these fast racetracks. We're going racing at the 2-mile Michigan International Speedway for the Sirius Satellite Radio 400. Trey, we'll see what happens there because we've seen some crazy racing there at the past with how wide and fast that racetrack is.
Oh, Joe, I can only imagine what we're going to see this time around.
And we'll tune in next week to JRTV to see what will just happen at that race. After that one's done, we're halfway through the season here in the Winston Cup Series. So far, it's been all Roush Racing and Keyshawn Richardson. Can Richard Childress Racing come back? Can Joe Gibbs Racing mount a charge back? Can DEI find a way to get themselves up into that championship out? And can Hendrick Motorsports find out what is wrong with their 4 cars this season? We're going to find out in the next few races for sure. Tune in next week to JRTV for the Michigan race. Congratulations to Mathis Wells and the number 20 Joe Gibbs Racing Pontiac team for winning their first of the season at Pocono. For Trey Bardo, I'm Joe Rakowski. So long from the Pocono Raceway and the Pocono 400.